Pod in the City is a Sex in the City podcast and thus contains adult themes and explicit content. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome to Pod in the City. I'm Amanda.
And I'm John.
We're two besties who bonded over Sex in the City in college.
And now, 20 years later, we're reliving it like it's our very first time. Season 3, Episode 7, Drama Queens. Carrie obsesses about her perfect relationship when Aiden suggests she meets his parents. Miranda enjoys her intimate life with Steve. And Charlotte gets upset when a married friend won't set her up with his bachelor buddy. Samantha tries the blue pill while sleeping with a doctor. Amanda's on mute.
Take two. What a current reference. Viagra.
Well, I was trying to not say the word because last week we weren't able to be monetized.
Because it had the word sluts in the title, Joan.
But that's so far our highest viewed video now.
I know, so give them the public.
Luck be a lady, it's a night. Anyway, so in this episode, okay, honestly, the skid marks thing, guys, this is the skid marks episode. With Steve's skid marks, Amanda?
Skid marks were not accurate. I was like, that's not what skid marks.
Well, they were very low, I thought. They were in the taint area. Is it in the taint area? Isn't it a little higher? So if you went to your man, you're doing your man's laundry and there's skid marks, thoughts? Are you good with that?
I put on somebody's pants after they had shit in them when they were puking. I think you might know the story. You might have been there. So it didn't bother me.
Well, so this is topical. You know what? Every story in Sex in the City is based on truth. I mean, the sad thing is, I was really chugging along on my love for Steve. As we know, we're a Steve podcast over here. We want him to tongue us down like this pizza. I mean, but this episode, I wasn't really feeling the Steve fantasy as much.
I mean,
all I can think about is if you find that poop in their underwear like that, skid marks, okay? I would never be able to not imagine that they just have poop between their butt crack the whole time, always. I'm okay, now from this moment on, you have shit in your crack, right? Or are you able to move past that?
No, it wouldn't bother me. I'm not really that grossed out by that kind of stuff at all.
Okay, I don't like poop, but I really don't like blood. Have you seen that new? Oh, you didn't see it. It's that movie.
I cannot take. That's why I don't like children most. That's most of the reason why I don't like children.
Oh.
They're just a walking wet, runny nose.
Well, I definitely don't like. You know what? A booger is nothing to me, but blood.
Oh, my ex-boyfriend in high school. I don't even know what. I don't need to really say ex.
Give us the full deets.
My high school boyfriend. Okay. I went to Banff with him for a day, and the entire day he had a huge booger just right here, in the corner of his nose.
You didn't say anything?
Not to him. I told everyone else.
So you were a bitch since high school. Just kidding. Yeah. Guys, hi everyone. It's Joan and Amanda here.
I couldn't get past that, by the way. I could not get past that. It was
So you broke up with him after that?
Well, no, we broke up because he was gay.
Oh, got it. Well, weirdly, speaking of, guys, hi everyone. It's it's Pod in the City with Aminata and Joan, also known as Amanda and Joan. Anyway, and Joan.
And John.
What the fuck? Guys, couple of things before we get rolling. We do every week, as a little compliment to this, it's our Untucked. If you're only watching this, you're only getting half the story. We also do a weekly live every Wednesday, and we would love if you were there. Maybe you're just one of our fabulous listeners on one of the places. Check out our YouTube, because our live is over on YouTube every Wednesday at youtube.com/@podandthecity.
Right.
At meaning the like little.
We also have a Patreon at
We do.
patreon.com/Pod in the City. And this week we talked about girls. It's a shame about Ray.
This is what when you said, yeah, he turned out gay. That's what it reminded me of, because we do have a conversation about, would you be upset if you're like, if you dated a guy, he was in, and this is in like, what, college? He was gay, and then he ended up having sex with your friend, your girlfriend.
I would be more mad at the friend. But Hannah isn't. Hannah sticks with Marnie, which I thought was admirable.
Yeah, who knows? Anyway, guys, if you want, you can check that out. It's $6 a month over there at patreon.com/Pod in the City. You get an extra episode every week, and you get our Pod in the City episodes these early, babe. So basically,
with no ads, with none of those.
Exactly. You also that, you know, what's really cute is you get to jump in on our live on Wednesday, and you can like tell like inside jokes because you heard this 2 days earlier than everyone else.
That's right. You're better than everyone else.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So this episode though, do you like I did a little fusing of photography here.
I was thinking the other day, like, what if there was a week where you and Jody, like you or Jody, were not able to make the cover and I was going to have to do it? Like, I think I would have a little breakdown, a controlled breakdown, where I was just like, I don't want to, because I know that I can do it, but I'm sure for you too, it's super easy. You know exactly, but like it would be me restarting from scratch and just really working it.
I will say the hard part is getting the photos, because it's like me taking a picture of my television.
Yeah. Wow.
I did it.
You did good. All right, well, you're leading this, so
we don't get dinged today. Okay, so cool. We'll see how this goes. It happened 2 days ago. Aiden and I had been seeing each other for 3 weeks when she wakes up. She like, this is a recurring story of this episode, is that Carrie's like waking up in a cold sweat because she's going through an existential crisis, because like, what is it? A bad dream? The truth is, she really didn't know. The next day, I searched for unpaid bills, unanswered calls, unmet deadlines, but I hadn't so much as missed a teeth cleaning. My life appeared to be in order, but the next night, like clockwork, she wakes up again. Oh my God, she realizes she's in the middle of an existential crisis. One that not even the sight of this season's Dolce & Gabbana sandals could lift me out of. So like, I get that the whole vibe here is that she's in this existential crisis, guys, because she like has never had a good boyfriend before.
Yeah, I think of this episode every time I date someone. Don't you think of this a lot? I think this is such a relevant episode to any type of dating. This is how I always am. I always freak out when someone asked me the other day, like, oh, so like, do men just constantly like walk away from you? And I was like, no, they never do. It's always me like leaving in some hysterical like freak out. So like, but I get this so much where it's like, this is too easy. It's too easy. It's making me uncomfortable. Like the asking to meet the parents thing would completely send me into a meltdown. Remember the drawer when Rob asked for a second drawer?
Yes, but it's Aiden. But it's Aiden.
Yes, yeah, Rob is definitely not Aiden. He's a very nice guy.
It's Aiden.
It's Aiden.
I kind of think she needs to take a chill pill and like just be like, let it run over you, Carrie.
This wouldn't freak you out. You wouldn't be constantly worried that this is going to end at some time. Like this is all.
I would, but the show. I would, but that is more trauma based, and the show doesn't ever go into like. Carrie's not like, well, my father wasn't there for me as a child, so now I'm afraid of this. It's more just like, oh, well, Big, he was a piece of shit, which he really was. And so now you just have like a normal person.
He was. I thought we were in agreement that Big really didn't do that much wrong. And if Carrie had taken a chill pill with Big, so you gotta meet somewhere in the middle here.
That is, but I'm sure MPK thought, you know what? I'm gonna have just opposites.
Oh my gosh. I listened to the episode.
Did you know that I'm right? Are you about to say that I'm right? I think Amanda's about to say that John's right.
About what?
Go for it. Continue.
I'll
piece it in if you don't mention it.
I listened to Michael Patrick King on Kristen Davis's. I don't know what you think I'm gonna
I'm a
say.
Charlotte or something is what it's called.
Are you a Charlotte? He was
Are
a
you
guest.
a Charlotte?
And it was a pretty rough listen. I don't like that guy at all.
He definitely loves himself, which
does he? And he's humorless about himself. I'll tell you that much too. He cannot, like, there are things that he clearly has carried grudges about, but then on the episode he'll reference a couple of times, like, oh yeah, no, I'm fine with it. It's like,
one of our amazing listeners, was it Kate? Possibly. They commented that they listened to him on Charlotte's podcast, and they mentioned when and just like that, season 3 will be coming out.
That's right, summer.
Who said that it was coming out in summer?
Oh, that's what you were right about. You are right about that.
I started that.
I thought you were going to say that you were right that Michael Patrick King is insufferable.
No. Like, we knew. I was right that and just like that will be coming out in summer of 2025, baby. So get ready, motherfuckers. Anyway,
I'm excited. That'll be a fun summer. I'm so excited for summer. This is my first, like, well, I was sober last summer, but I was also still very fat. So maybe I can kind of live a little this summer. I'm excited to go out and do stuff and be among the people. And then we'll be doing this, being all cute. We can drink
hot
mocktails. We'll do lives. We're gonna do lives with it, and just like that, we got to figure that out.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. Maybe we should put that on Patreon.
Well, we'll talk about it
because I think we have a lot of content for people to. Okay, continue. Oh wait, I'm in charge.
We're reading this. Oh god, oh shit. Oh, at the diner though, they're at the diner, and I wrote what each of their plates were.
So did I.
Okay. Okay, great.
Samantha's eating cottage cheese and like vegetables. She like puts like
I thought it was a big Greek salad with feta.
That was like a thing of cottage cheese in the middle.
Doesn't touch it though. She picks up a fork at one point, but
she eats one little piece of like it looked like a red pepper or something. It was like the tiniest little like strip of something. Miranda's eating eggs, like looks like scrambled eggs with fruit on the side, which had like pineapple and shit. Carrie has like basically what looks like a plate of vegetables.
Vegetables, but lettuce with iceberg lettuce.
With like cauliflower and like broccoli.
It was chopped raw vegetables, but then also lettuce. And then
the Charlottes drove me crazy.
But also she's not even pretending to reach for that shit.
Oh no. It had 2 bites taken out of it. A full toasted bagel with cream cheese. And then like 3 strips of bacon.
Yeah. I thought it was smoked salmon at first, but
the rest of the girls are eating vegetables and cottage cheese. And Charlotte is somehow.
Yeah, no.
Or maybe are they trying to make a point? Maybe they're trying to do a bit here because there is a moment later where Charlotte's spiraling out and she eats a brownie in a way that you're supposed to believe like, oh my God, the only way she'd eat a brownie is if she's spiraling out. And it's like, it's a bite of a brownie. I wish I had that kind of restraint. Shit, I could eat a brownie every day or 5. Okay.
I ate 3 brownies yesterday.
So basically back to the show. Carrie's all worked up because she's just like, it's too good. It's nothing but calm seas, blue horizons. Like, see, there's not a cloud in sight. We just adore each other. We have fun. We mesh. And they're like, and this is the problem? And she's like, it just feels odd. I'm used to the hunt. This is effortless. It's like freaking me out. Samantha's like, I totally understand. You're not getting the stomach flip. Blah, blah, blah. She's, Carrie's used to this seductive withholding thing, which I'm at a point in my life where I don't want to do that, but I can see, but Carrie isn't that much younger than we are. But I could see in my 20s, that was very cute. Not anymore. I think you should just be upfront, right?
I don't know. I hated when
you would rather just say, like, have someone like lie or be like, oh.
Yeah, actually, you know what I'm starting to realize? My ideal relationship is like I live my life over here. We have sex whenever like we want.
Okay.
And like we don't really hang out or
So
go
you
out.
need like a fuck buddy.
Yeah. Is that what I want?
That's it.
But then I would like us to kind of text all day. Not all day, but like we text
Sex?
in the morning. Text.
Oh.
Like we're
What
friends
about
on
what?
text.
Okay, so you want a
How was your
friend with
day?
benefits.
Yeah.
But you don't really want to be
I'm working on that with
friends
this drywall guy.
except for
What?
texting.
But like we
You
like
just want to be a text friend.
a text friend, but then also like sex, and then like bye-bye.
I think you should put that on your profile.
I think I would get a lot of hits.
Step 1, text. Step 2, sex. Step 3, bye.
No hanging out. Yeah, but
leave
just
immediately.
Leave immediately.
So then this is when we are, Miranda has now had an about face from, I believe it was last episode where she didn't want to settle down with Steve, to now she is totally content and in love with being bored and comfortably predictable. This is when she says that her favorite, my favorite thing to do now on a Saturday night is Steve's laundry. Samantha's like, your relationship is my greatest fear realized.
I love it.
She's like, if he seems too good to be true, he probably is. And then, Charlotte introduces this book that they never really reference again, but
this is like a jump storyline.
This book has one idea in it, and the idea is that if you want to get married, you shouldn't hang out with your pathetic, lonely, boring, awful, disgusting single friends. You should only hang out with your married friends, your happy, wonderful married friends, because every married couple, the thing that they don't do is they don't bitch about each other when you hang out with them. Nope, never.
What do you mean?
What I'm being sarcastic, because
just
about any time you hang out with someone who's married, like the idea here is that Charlotte's going to be around married people and it's just going to really like boost her life up. When I'm around married people, no judgment to friends of mine that are married. I don't think my friends actually listen to this, but if they do, most of the time spent with them is like complaining about their marriage, and not in a bad way.
Really? I would never do that. Like nowadays, I would never complain about like in my marriage, like to my husband, unless I know I'm going to break up with him.
You wouldn't complain to like me about your husband if he was doing annoying things.
No, not if I. Well, I guess I would complain about like little trivial things, but if he did something really shitty, I would never tell my friends unless I knew I was going to break up with him. Because then if I told you something really horrific that some guy did to me,
okay, well,
if I told you'd be like, you need to break up with him.
My friends aren't telling like. Luckily, their husbands aren't like doing horrific, horrendous things.
I mean, I wouldn't, if I was in love with this person and I wanted it to work out, then I would not ever talk shit about
them. Well, the things I'm talking about are like, they don't put on deodorant like some days. Stuff like that, where like, I don't know how that makes me want to be married. Right, or someone being like, we haven't had sex in like, a while. That makes me want to be married. So somehow Charlotte has decided, because of this book that I'm sure is written by a man, she needs to hang out with her married friends. And the reaction of the girls is like, oh, okay, so what are you going to do with them? I would be like, are you for real? Like, if my friend's like, I can't hang out with you because you're a pathetic single, I'd be like, well, fuck you too. I mean, what?
I don't want to go with you either then.
Seriously. Great.
Miranda and Steve have 8 minutes of no frills sex, and
they have lasagna.
I got lasagna. My shirt's off.
And he's like, he's like, let me get some plates. She's like, why? It's just the two of us. Then they fuck for 8 minutes. Then she watches Nightline for 12 minutes.
And then she flips her. What does he have? That's called where he has the outie belly button. It's called
an outie, isn't it?
No, but it's like when you have a hernia.
I don't think he has a hernia. Here, because it would be bigger.
Isn't that what an outie is? Kind of. It's like a mini hernia. Oh, it isn't.
Oh,
I think it is.
So. Oh, okay. Well,
it's supposed to be in. I think an outie is a little mini hernia.
Yeah. Okay. Samantha.
Speechless.
Samantha. Samantha was experiencing intimacy that only came from anonymity. His name was Dr. Mark Raskin. Raskin, he was hot. An ear, nose, and throat man that Samantha met. Actually, we're not sure where. Suffice it to say, it happened quickly.
It's such a bitchy thing. Even in her voiceover, she's like shading Samantha.
Seriously.
You're like, all taking more dick than Samantha is at this point. By the way, I just looked it up. An outie belly button can sometimes be a sign of an umbilical hernia, but not all outies are hernias.
Okay, that's what I thought. Because I've seen outie, like a hernia one, it's like big. It's like big. Anyway, great. This guy's a doctor, and Carrie's still shading Samantha for being with him. He's like, "Hey, can you get me some water, please?" And she's like, "What for?" And he's like, "I want to take a Viagra." And she's like, "Oh, well,
like,
what's that like?" Or whatever.
Like,
he's like, "I'm gonna pound you into the wall. I'm gonna fuck you to the moon," or whatever. And then he fucks her, and I swear to God, her moan. She's like riding him, right? And she's like, oh.
And then it goes to the opera.
That's later. This is the first one. She's doing it, and I was like, this bitch sounds like Joanne Worley. If anyone knows Joanne, and I'm like, okay, this is giving me the glimpses of her scat. I also listened to her scat the other day, and I've been in a jazz choir, and I'm not saying I can, trust me. And when I did a jazz choir, they would make you to practice your freestyling and shit. Yeah. They would just make you get up in front of they would be like, oh, come out and start doing some shit. Yeah, I'm not going to say I know about scatting or I was good, but what she does, I don't even know if I'd qualify it as scatting.
Well, he barks.
Babadoo-bay, oh, babadoo-way. Like, you're no fucking Ella Fitzgerald, lady.
It's a very Lin-Manuel Miranda vibe, that thing, all of that.
If you made it the whitest sounding shit you've ever heard.
I just mean the earnestness of it, like that it's unironic. I'm like, this is what you do in your sperm thing with each other. Unironically.
I believe it. I would believe who it was. Anyway, okay, Carrie and Aiden are walking on the street. While Samantha enjoyed the thrill of the new and Miranda's relationship happily floated on a placid sea, I was searching for hidden icebergs. Immediately.
Carrie has on this Carrie has on this big gold choker, this like material.
That's like kind of wrapped.
She looks so good in this whole episode, this whole season, but she looks gorgeous in this episode.
She got some kind of blowout.
Yes, she got a great blowout. And then the
slick. But curled.
But then the color, there's like low lights and highlights also.
And like kind of blonde going on here.
It looks so gorgeous.
Face framing highlights. All right. Carrie is like, why are you still single? And he's like,
I think of this all the time too. When I do meet a guy who I consider quality, I'm like, why are you still single? And then usually I find out pretty quickly why they're still single.
Here's a question though. Is that not offensive?
No, I think that's a huge compliment.
What is someone supposed to say, though, in response? If someone asked me, why are you still single? I'd be like, well, because I'm a bitch. I don't know.
I'd be like, I was an alcoholic for several years.
Well, I mean, you could be like, well, I was married. I've been in I was, with a crazy man who, ruined my everything. And
yep.
That wasn't the one you were married to. That was separate.
No.
And you need big dick. Anyway, so then he's like, why are you still single? And she's like, don't do that. I hate when guys act all cute. And he's like, what? And she basically wants an apology. And she's like, I'm a bitch. I'm sorry. And then they're just like, Carrie's spiraling about it being too perfect. And I wrote, shut the fuck up. Can't you just relax? He says, can't you relax and go with the flow? She says, go with the flow. No, I can't do that. It's so 70s. And
that wouldn't bother you though if you were dating this seemingly perfect guy. That wouldn't eat away at you. Why aren't you already hooked up with someone? There has to be a reason why you're in your mid 30s and you're not married and settled down.
No, because I'm in my late 30s and I'm not settled down. So I'm approaching this from the other side of let's say someone is like, why are you still single? I'll be like, well, I know I'm a catch, but other people don't, I guess. What the fuck do you want me to say? And then what does this help Carrie? Let's say he's like, well, I'm awful. Oh, well, good to know. I
Yeah.
mean, what does she want out of what answer do you want? Would be my question. What are you
Right.
wanting to know if I fucked over 3 other women. They hated me. They dumped me before I was
like,
able to.
what if you ask Brock Turner? Is that his last name?
Brock Turner, the guy who like.
No, but Brock
yes.
Sheena's husband. What if you asked him? It's like, oh,
I abandoned my family in Australia so I could try and become famous.
Yeah, all that.
So like for me, I'd be like, well, let me think. I have abandonment issues. I'm like.
But I would want an answer like, oh, my wife passed away, or my wife is now a lesbian. I'd want some kind of. But what
can Aiden's answer be? What is Aiden's answer?
I would want an answer to that. I would definitely need an answer to that.
And what would it do for you though?
It would make me decide on whether or not like this can continue, because if there's something really fucked up you did in your past, which is why you're still single, then I don't want to continue this.
But do you think that someone who did something really fucked up in their past is going to tell you? Just wondering.
I mean, I don't know.
I also think that people need to, there does need to be, we need to be more open-minded and allowing people the idea that people can change.
Yeah, well,
I think we are too like attached to like thinking someone's the same as they'll always be. And for me, I know that I've changed over time.
Yeah, I think at your core, you'll always be the same person. Not you. I mean, bad people. Bad people can't change. Narcissists can't change.
I think though, if you live your life in a way that you experience new things and you learn from them, you grow, you have different experiences outside of your bubble, then you are able to grow and change. I would not say that I'm the same person I was like when we did Godspell.
All right, let's keep going.
My voice keeps like cracking, dude.
No, you've been freaking and cracking for like the past couple hours.
Jeez. Okay, so yeah, enough of that. He introduces that he wants Carrie to meet his parents, which I would be, I don't know how I'd feel here. I understand what Carrie's saying, but I kind of also, okay, so Carrie's reasons, I'll wait. So
parents love me. That wouldn't really bother me at all, because also like Carrie, parents always do love me because I'm pretty non-threatening. But I would be like, this seems a lot.
Later they talk a bit deeper about it, so I'll say that. Okay. The next evening, taking a page from Marriage Incorporated, Charlotte had dinner with her married friends Amy and Dennis. This is Charlotte's line. Allow me to get right to the point. After careful consideration, I've decided that I'm getting married. Charlotte, that's wonderful. Who's the lucky guy? I don't know. I haven't met him yet. And then she's like, this is where you come in handy. I'm going to need you. Do you guys know any single and available men to like hook me up with like immediately? Unfortunately, this doesn't work in the gay world.
I don't think it really works in the single world either.
I think it kind of does.
Oh, maybe it does. Yeah. If you want to kind of be part of like a group or a community, I think that's a major reason why a lot of people like go the church route, because it's just a community already.
If you don't want me to get unhinged, let's talk.
Okay.
I think that people often arrive to religion when they need something and it gives them something that they're missing in their lives. That's what I'll say. Now, they think about this guy, Phil, who we never, spoiler alert, we never actually even see Phil, unfortunately. So Charlotte says she has tickets for the opera on Saturday. They're like, I want to take Phil.
Why do you have tickets to the, I guess maybe she has season tickets, but
I wouldn't be surprised. Like, I would like to be a patron of the arts more. If I was richer, I would be like
every show in town.
Not like not like this. Like, I think if you're an opera goer, you are a patron of the arts.
Opera's
like
boring.
you just have too much money. I think
Yeah,
at that point.
and
Like,
that is it's fuck you money.
if your choice is to go to like Gamage or to an opera, like you think pretty highly of yourself if your choice is an
Or
opera.
Stage Brush Theater's production of Godspell.
We had heavy hitters in that audience because allegedly there were legends on the stage. Anyway, not us. I'm excited.
What?
Anyway, whatever. She's gonna go to the opera on Saturday. She wants to take it. The next morning before work, while sorting Steve's laundry, Miranda came face to face with the true meaning of intimacy. And Miranda's like, I was wrong. There is a point where a couple can get too comfortable. I reached it this morning, washing Steve's underwear. Why? What happened? I'm living with skid marks, guy. And Carrie's reaction I thought was actually pretty cute.
Yeah.
They have this whole thing, and then she's like, it got me thinking, this was a weird line. This is more of a Carrie line, but they somehow have Miranda saying it to Carrie. It got me thinking, maybe I mistake falling into a rut with intimacy. Could you imagine saying that to your friend? I got to thinking, maybe I mistake falling into a rut with intimacy. And I don't believe, like, maybe they just because they haven't shown enough of the Miranda and Steve relationship at this point to already be like, this is what love is for me. Because
they moved this along. I remember I said that like at the beginning of us recapping the season. I'm like, I watched ahead, and it is shocking how quickly that storyline wraps up. It's in like 5 episodes because we're on episode.
What storyline?
Miranda and Steve, like they break up next episode.
Oh,
I think. I'm almost positive they break up next episode.
Okay, so then Carrie's like, how often are you guys having sex? Often enough. It's totally generic. We got every move down pat. It's more like a race to have an orgasm. Great. So we whine when we don't have a boyfriend, and then we whine when we do. And then Carrie immediately is like, do you remember how Big kept me away from his mother? Miranda's like, I remember. And Carrie's like, and how it pissed me off? Now Aiden's offering both his parents on a silver platter, and I'm not sure I want to meet them. Maybe it's too soon. The irony is Aiden's acting exactly how I wish Big would have behaved. And I'm behaving just like Big. Oh, and it's like,
maybe you're not over Big would be my first thing. I'd be like, it sounds like you are way more
clearly
you don't like Aiden as much as you were into Big.
Clearly, because she's willing to let Big, like she was willing to let Big do almost anything.
Well, the next episode is the big time.
Oh, when she cheats? Is that when she cheats?
I think the next episode is like the booth bitch episode.
The booth bitch episode.
Like where like she's like, I'm his booth bitch. Oh, she's like helping him at the booth, and then Big and Natasha come, and then she spills coffee on him, and then they meet on that like regatta, that boat.
Yes. Okay. Yes. At
says,
Grand Central, because they're doing a thing at Grand Central Station for his
for his
furniture. Okay.
Furniture.
The irony is Aiden's acting exactly how I wish Big would have behaved, and I'm behaving just like Big. Maybe you don't believe it's for real unless somebody plays hard to get.
I agree with that. I think there needs to be a principle.
I wish people could just be open without it being like a thing where like people are like, oh my God, they want me too much. Like people play it. It's such a fucking game. It really is.
Yeah, but it's boring if there's no game, in my opinion.
I will pass on the game. If someone would like to call me up and be like, I really am into you, and then we hang out, and then they text me the exact same night and are like, yeah, I really like you. And I'm like, cool, I really like you. And then I would not be like, is this moving too fast? Oh my God, this is like, oh my God, they're too real. There's something has to be wrong with this.
Well,
you're a self-sabotager then. Well, you never know. I am a sabotager too, so who knows? Do they have to get complicated before we believe that things are real? We're raised to believe that true love never runs smoothly. There always have to be obstacles in Act 2. Oh, I'm glad we're using some theater terminology. Before you can live happily ever after in Act 3. But what happens when the obstacles aren't there? Does that mean that there's something missing? Do we need drama to make a relationship work? A few days later, still hearing no word from Dennis about her date, Charlotte made a call to his office. Charlotte does this days of calling this office, being like, hi, this is weird. And this is where I'm wondering, maybe the bagel was part of this scheme, because the button of this thing is her being like sitting at a table in what looks like Central Park with a coffee. And then she's like, I just want to know like what's going on or whatever. And then she like hangs up the phone. Then she like eats a piece of like a brownie, being like,
speaking of Sheena, by the way, how much is this like Sheena? When this is a single Sheena. I remember seeing a TikTok comment that was like, nothing hits like a single Sheena or something like that. Like nothing hits quite like a single, or nothing's quite as unhinged like a single Sheena, which is so true.
Her Rob was one of the cringiest.
Yeah, it was definitely a scene about that.
I think that with this, Charlotte is annoying, and I also don't know. I would never in a million years see. People will suggest something to me, and we'll be like, "Yeah, let's totally do it," and this and that. If they don't say it again, I won't bring it back up because I don't want to bother them. So,
also, I just don't believe that Charlotte would be this desperate, because she is one of the most gorgeous women to ever walk the earth.
She also is constantly getting dick on this show.
Constantly getting dick. If I'm getting an Instacart customer hitting on me just based off of a profile picture with no makeup on and a sports bra, Charlotte's getting hit on every block in New York City. Someone is proposing to her. So,
the thing though with Charlotte is she ultimately, I would say she'd reject 98% of the men who want her, because she needs a successful,
doesn't give head.
Whatever. Oh my god. Well, okay. I was excited at the end of this episode of what happened.
I know, me too. I was like, oh.
So, while Charlotte was a woman on the verge of a nervous breakdown, my anxiety-free relationship was driving me crazy.
Can I ask a question? You know, this should have been in news and gossip, Joan. We're not doing our job. Did you see that Pop Culture Jeopardy this week had a whole segment about like Sex in the City travelers, I think was the category, and it was all like recurring guest stars, and they got every single one wrong. And one of them, like the $200 questions, was this Twin Peak actor played Trey McDougal, Charlotte's husband, and it was like beep beep, and Colin Jost was like, guys.
So basically none of them knew about Sex in the City, because you don't know Trey. What's his real name? Kyle MacLachlan.
And then Colin Jost goes, it was the great Kyle MacLachlan, which like, yeah, he's been in so much stuff and he is great. He's a great actor.
You know who I'm excited about? What I'm excited about? I just saw a preview for it today. The new Jurassic Park movie with Jonathan
Bailey? Okay, I
am buzzing to see this fucking movie.
Chris Pratt in it too?
No.
He's not.
And that is why I was excited. Now,
put that on the list for tomorrow.
Number 1, Scarlett Johansson, isn't it, though? It's Scarlett Johansson, Jonathan Bailey, and Mahershala Ali.
Do you not like Scarlett Johansson?
She's fine.
What'd she ever do to you?
She was in that movie Ghost in the Shell,
where she played like an
Asian person. She probably shouldn't have done that. And I do think sometimes she can be kind of bland with her acting, but they have her playing the bad bitch role in this, and Jonathan Bailey's like the like nerdy scientist guy who goes along with her. And
I'm into that.
My God.
Okay.
I was like, oh, he wears these little like round glasses
that
too.
Is so hot.
Girl. That is going to be my new obsession for the next 4 months, because it comes out in the summer.
During and just like that.
So much is coming this summer, guys. I'm excited. All right. So my parents get in tomorrow. So Aiden's going through all this thing of saying, like, you know, my parents get in, you know, maybe, you know, they're going to want to relax here. But then the next morning, can you meet us for breakfast? And she's like, I've been thinking about this meeting your parents. I just wondered if it's a good idea. And he's like, they're going to love you. And she's like, I'm not worried about that. Parents always think I'm adorable. And he's like, what's the problem? And she's like, what if they love me and we break up, and you'll always have to explain to them what happened to the adorable girl.
It's a good point.
Sure.
Like, let's not make the parents until like we know this is like a thing.
I would agree. I think 3 weeks in, if they are okay. Now, I would say it's different. Maybe if your parents like live in the same vicinity.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
But if they're coming to town to visit you, no, I'm not spending half a days that they're here.
I'm not introducing Daphne to anyone I'm dating until I am like engaged. She doesn't even know what Rob looks like.
I wouldn't for my mom either. I don't tell my mom if I go on any dates, because my mom would be like, so what's going on?
Mom,
what happened? And it'd be like, I don't want that guy in any way. I don't want to have to explain any of it to you.
Yeah, and I don't want to bring it up now, especially because then if you break up, she's bringing it up, and it's like, I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah. My mom, though, is really good at ride or die, so she would just probably hate that person till the end of time. She hates certain people still from my past that, hurt me in some way or another. So she's like, she's a Scorpio, so I think they hold grudges.
My dad still wishes that I'd stuck around with Raju because he was going to take him to some baseball games.
With Raju?
That didn't work. Yeah. He I
thought you were going to maybe say Brad or something.
No,
Raju.
Yeah, he loved him. It's like, I really hope that I'm really disappointed that didn't work out. I'm like, he beat me up physically.
Lord Jesus.
Anyway, my dad's been very helpful lately. Anyway, I have to walk this dog soon, so let's go.
He's like, are you breaking up with me? She's like, no. Oh my God. It's just so big. It's just so big. And it was like, could we think of a different word, babe? He's like, it's okay. You'll meet him some other time. She's like, okay. And he's like, so I guess I won't be seeing each other this weekend. He's like, I'll miss you. And she's like, maybe that's good. Maybe we should see each other less, then we can miss each other more.
I agree with that too.
I understand completely, but I think this is all a product of Carrie not being over big.
For sure. And like how she handles it later when she sees Big is like a page out of the Amanda Kaczynski book. It's like, now I am dead. I need to do nothing else right now but see Aiden right now. And then I would fully spiral out of control, as he has now done what I have asked him to do. And, be less available. And now I'm spun out. And now I'm mad.
But I really thought Carrie and Aiden, or Carrie and Big, were going to fuck when they see each other later. They should have fucked in the bathroom or something.
Don't you remember the first time you saw that? Like, just feeling that gasp?
When he is looking at, okay, so we'll get to it because it's actually a good moment. All right. So she's like, maybe, you're so available to me and I'm so available to you. Maybe we're just too available. And he's like, Carrie, it's no big deal. I have a life. He's like, I'm just making room for you, which.
Yeah, that's nice.
And then she's a bitch. You always say the right things. And she's like, goodbye. Then they're at the opera. Okay. She's like, this is nuts. I'm sabotaging the best relationship I've ever had. And then Charlotte's like, it's better to have a man waiting for you than the other way around. And Carrie's like, I guess. And if you hadn't been available, I'd be here all alone, just some pathetic dateless freak.
She's very
great,
funny.
Charlotte. Great. You can't. I guess it means you're a loser to go anywhere by yourself.
Yeah, I know, right? She now voicemail bombs Dennis again. But I'm at the opera now.
You can kind of see where this is going, right? And he picks up the phone. He's like, she's leaving a message for them on their voicemail. He picks up the phone. He's like, Charlotte? He like rushes to the phone. He's like, it's Dennis. I'm so sorry. I just got back from a business trip. My secretary gave me all your messages. I had no idea you wanted to meet Phil so badly. Charlotte's like, well, he sounded really nice. It's not a big deal. And he's like, why don't I set up something tomorrow evening, 7:30? Rudy's Midtown. I love that place. Phil will meet you there. I guarantee it.
Have you been to Rudy's Midtown?
No, have you?
Rudy's Midtown is that place in Hell. Well, I don't know if there's another, or maybe this is just made up. But there's a famous Rudy's in Hell's Kitchen on 9th Avenue. It's in Times Square area, Hell's Kitchen. And it has that pig out front, and it's like you just get pitchers of beer, and then they serve free hot dogs all day and night.
Okay.
I'm sure you've been there before.
So there's no way that's where
Yeah, there's no way that's it. I just always remember
I do actually remember where you're saying the place that had the hot dogs.
Yeah,
that's
free
what
hot
I would
dogs.
remember.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's like, Phil will meet you there. And he's like on the phone, he's like, I guarantee it. I'm like, what the fuck? Samantha's then with the Viagra guy. She's like, what do you think would happen if I just take one of these? And then she takes one and then she's like, and then Carrie's like, Samantha officially became the first woman to land on the moon. Carrie and Charlotte are back at the opera. This is a cute transition because she cute-ish. I don't like the singing with the moaning.
I don't either. I don't like it stuff, really.
It cuts to the show and Charlotte's just like, oh my God, the opera is just so romantic. And Carrie's like, whatever. And Charlotte gives Carrie the opera glasses and Carrie's like looking around. She's popping her gum.
Yeah. Like it's kind of a cute moment. Yeah.
And then she looks around, which I would be looking. I mean, I look at the audience for sure. One of the places we go to theater, it's like a theater in the round. And I am constantly like, okay, who's like the hottest guy on that side? Who's the hottest guy over here? You know, you need something a little restless.
On your grinder when you're at theater?
Oh, I don't. I should. I'm there with my family, so I'm not really like.
Yeah, but that would probably be a lot. Like, you'd probably meet people with like common interests somewhat.
Shit, I should go to like I don't want to go to that theater. I'd rather go to like, the Phoenix Theater or something like that. To do that. That's a good idea. That's a really good idea. Because that is something I've been thinking is that's where I'm gonna look for someone. I want to be a patron of the arts, and I'd like some rich man who owns a home on Camelback.
That's where you find it. That's where you can find it, girl.
So as this photo suggests, Carrie's looking through the glasses. She's looking around. And then she catches across someone looking at her. And it's, oh my God, Big. He's looking at her through opera glasses on the other side. He puts them down. She looks up. And then she's like, oh my God, I gotta go. So she like starts running out. Then he starts running out.
No, but you know what? Okay, so seeing him would kill me. You know that what would fully murder me, like finish it, is when he just like gives like a very earnest wave, like a hi. That would,
you can tell
I'm right back.
So.
Oh, I am.
But his thing with Natasha was a complete reactionary situation anyway, too. Which, you know what? That's never been something that straight men do. Something traumatic or something terrible happens, and they're like, "Oh my God, better lock it down. Better find someone else. Better this and that or the other. Better find the perfect thing of what."
What are you talking about?
Miranda, and she's like, "What's wrong?" And this is at 3 a.m. Okay, no, they're looking. She leaves. She runs out. Weirdly, he looks like he's about aged 10 years in the last episode or something. Something's going on with his look here. Carrie's in bed again. She's startled awake from her existential crisis. This time, Aiden's not there, so she calls Miranda at 3 a.m. Ring, ring. Miranda's like, hello, hello. Carrie's like, hello. And Miranda's like, what's wrong? And Carrie's like, I saw Big tonight at the opera. And Miranda's first initial thought isn't like, this couldn't have waited a few hours or something. She's like, oh, that's why you ditched Charlotte. Okay. Great. She told you, was she pissed? I think she's swearing off women forever. Are you okay? I'm great, actually. I'm really realizing that maybe there is something to this available man thing. Yeah, it's kind of nice. So
right now, yes, now you're into
she's having a realization that she does want him. She does. And Miranda's like, shouldn't you be telling this to Aiden? And Carrie's like, it's 3 a.m. I'll wait until a more civilized hour, which I'd be like, I'm going to beat your ass the next time I see you. Carrie calls Aiden at the store. This is the next morning. He isn't there. Then she calls his apartment. His voicemail is so cute that it would make me so horny for him because his voicemail is like, Hey, I'm not in, but Pete is. And then you hear Pete
Leave a
bark.
message. Yes,
Oh,
it's very cute.
my
I'll leave a message for Pete.
God. I'm like, oh. Carrie's just spiraling out. She's calling, trying to call him, get a hold of him. And she's like, I was getting a dreaded feeling that I had played this all wrong. Suddenly, the idea of losing Aiden left me short of breath. Meanwhile, Miranda was not trying to
This is
breathe near
literally
Steve's
why
shorts.
most of us end up trying it again at least one more time with an ex, because you like date someone else, that goes badly, and then you like reminisce back and you're like, things weren't so bad with that ex, and then you get back together with them. That's kind of what's happening.
She's rationalizing this with Aiden, which he has done nothing to her. In fact,
he's obviously
he's
not
just
that
liked
into
her.
him. But now it's all like flowers and unicorns with him. He's this amazing guy.
Yeah. Do you think she's not that into him? Really?
I think.
Well, she's not into him because she's still hung up on Big, I feel.
Right. She has any business dating right now, really.
Agreed. I thought you might need some help with the wash, oh God. Okay. Meanwhile, Miranda was trying not to breathe near Steve's shorts. He's doing the laundry and he's like, I thought you might need some help with the wash. But there's nothing like a twist in the third act to spice up even the most banal scenario. And while Miranda and Steve found new life in the familiar, this is the part where I'm like, okay, he picks her up and like is gonna fuck her on the washing machine. And I'm like, all I would be thinking is that there is caked shit between your ass right now.
Why would you be thinking that?
Because he had the freaking doo-doo, whatever you call
it. No, I get it.
So you wouldn't be thinking, well, now he like always has skid marks. It'd be like he has a dirty shithole at this point.
No, I think that skid marks it happens.
No, it doesn't.
Also, I think as a girl girls would wear thongs all the time. You're gonna get like stains on that too. Girls get stains on their underwear. Your underwear is always stained. Always.
Shit stains?
No, but like other bodily.
Fine, that's different. That's different.
Yes, it's beautiful. It's life.
That's life comes out of the new, I think is what they call it.
Don't reference Ash Trevino on this sacred podcast.
Are you Phil? Oh, okay. So Charlotte, okay. And while Miranda and Steve found new life in the familiar, Charlotte was blindly feeling her way through the unfamiliar. She's going through the bar. She's like, are you Phil? And the guy's like, he was hot. The first guy she approaches. Then she approaches another guy. Are you Phil? He's like, I could be. This was back in the time when you didn't have, like, you couldn't really be like, hey, where are you sitting? You wouldn't, like, you're not texting. You're like, are you? Then guess what? She runs into Creepo. I can't remember what his name is now. Jeremy? Dennis. She's like, hey, Dennis, like, nice to see you. Are you here to chaperone? He's like, well, sort of. He's like, she's like, what's wrong? You couldn't trust me alone with Phil? And he's like, Charlotte, Phil's not coming. I never called Phil. I didn't want you to meet him. You'd like him, and that could be a problem. She's like, what are you talking about? He's like, I'm in love with you, Charlotte. You can't be in love with me. You're married to my friend. Things haven't been great with us, and I can't stop thinking about you. Okay. Interesting. She's like, you kept your single friends away from me so you could cheat.
I think that's very funny that she's more mad about that. She's not mad that he's a dirty dog. She's mad that you kept your single friends away from me, Phil.
So that he could cheat. And I don't know if I'd put it into perspective like that either. But he is like, she's like, you should be ashamed of yourself. And he's like, you're such a spark plug. I love that. And she's like, I'm not interested in starting some married man's car. What the fuck does that mean? Anyway, wait, don't leave, please. I love you, Charlotte, please. I love you, wait. Then Charlotte's running out of the restaurant. She falls into the middle of the street. A taxi cab almost runs over her head. And guess what? Oh my God. You're like, oh my God. He's like, are you all right? And he's like, let me help you. And she's like, thanks. I'm Trey. And she's like, Charlotte. And then Carrie's like, that's how, in the most dramatic fashion, Charlotte met her new leading man. And really, they are a great cat. Like, he is a great
Oh,
casting
so
for what
good.
you would
Yeah.
expect for that. And
They're a gorgeous
love,
couple.
I love where their storyline goes. I
It's
really
so
do.
good because it's like, well, let's give Charlotte everything she thinks she wants, but he like can't.
Well, it's totally that idea about perfection and thinking you have perfection and realizing that perfection is not what you is. There is never perfection, right? Well, time to pop one of those baby blues. Okay, so Samantha's about to fuck Viagra guy, and she's like, take a Viagra. And he's like, no, baby, let's go all natural this time. And she's like, no, I really need one. Oh, and he's like, don't you think it's good? He's like, don't you think I'm good without it? And she's like, no, I do not. And then I'm like,
no, she wants it though.
Yeah. And he's
but
like,
is this factual though? Is this what it does to you? Is it addictive? And does it work on women? I don't know any of this.
I don't know either. I don't know. I don't have enough work done, but I don't think it's an addiction. But I could understand the feeling of it being addicting. Like,
doesn't it just make your dick stay hard like too long? In my opinion, does Viagra?
That's what I was going to say. It makes your dick hard for like an hour, right?
No, I don't want this.
No.
For women, Viagra has mixed effects. What happens if a female? It caused similar side effects, but there's no strong evidence that it improves sexual response. So you don't. Does it make me wet? Yes or no?
Well, he suggests, he's like, let's save it for those special times. And she's like, give me my pills, God damn it. Mark realized he had brought too much intensity to their relationship. He wrote Samantha a prescription, and she promised never to call him again. Okay. After 2 days of not hearing from Aiden, I realized only a dramatic.
This was weird though. I would be pissed too if it'd be like, what the fuck, bro? We're talking every day. Like, he's clearly playing a game here, which I guess is what she wanted because it worked.
I was going to say, if you are telling me that I am too available for you, I'd love for you to take a moment and feel how it feels for me to be unavailable. And then you can decide which you prefer.
But you agree he's doing
that
it on purpose.
Being manipulative?
He's doing it to be manipulative.
He's doing what she asked him to do.
But he's doing it in a snarky way. Like, he knows what he's doing. He knows.
You would think, but the show so far has not made it seem like he's a manipulator. So I don't know.
Right.
Maybe not. I realized only a dramatic gesture could salvage things. I can't remember what.
He shows up to the diner now with him.
Oh, okay.
And I always thought this was it was so shitty to spring this on. I think we talked about this because you're blowing up his spot because he clearly would have had to tell his parents a lie. Like, oh, Carrie can't make it. She has a thing. And now you're just going to show up and be like, oh, I wasn't lying before or anything.
He probably was like, she has a deadline. She's a very important sex columnist. Usually my excuse is like, yeah, I got to get to my podcast. Got to record.
Hey, it is actually a great excuse because people can't argue with it.
Okay. Well, yes, I've called and you haven't called me. So then I thought I'm just going to go because being in a relationship means taking a risk, a leap of faith. Okay, girl, you're spiraling and I'd love for you to take a Xanax. No matter how many times one might have been disappointed before, I said to myself, I'm just going to show up because you're a good man. A really good man. Why haven't you called me back? I was just trying to be less available. Really? You don't have to do everything I say. Well, you're here now. Can I introduce you to my parents? Won't they think I'm nuts? Probably. Then they'll just have to get used to that. Come on, nuts. I realized then that I had made my stomach flip all on my own. And it felt really nice.
Yeah, but really, you're just putting a Band-Aid on the fact that you're not over your ex-boyfriend Big.
This episode could have been an email. Just kidding.
I love
good shit happened here, and I love Sex in the City till the day I die, honey. If you are willing to listen and you're all the way here and you have not left us a 5-star rating on iTunes, that'd be great. I didn't mention anything, but take a look back at a couple of our reviews and you'll feel why I've been agitated in the last couple of days. Check it out. Give us a 5-star review, please.
And then make sure you head over to Patreon if you really want to hear John spin out about it. There you go. Check out our Patreon and join our weekly roundup every Wednesday.
The lives are so fun, guys. You get to we chat, we talk, we shoot the sheet.
And
we love
us a voicemail. We need voicemails. It's in the show notes right below. Leave us a voicemail. We need at least a
hit like, share this video, comment,
leave a review.
Help us out, guys. We love you so much.
Love you guys so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.